Welcome to Lessons from Life, the podcast that gleans profound life lessons from everyday life stories.
Hosted by Dustin Fenton and Brandon Hill.
This is Brandon. Dustin's not with us again this week, but I have a friend of mine, Jordan Updike, and we've been friends for quite a long time. Jordan was a freshman and I think a sophomore in a residence hall where I was a resident director several years ago. Was just thinking about an experience I had with him when he was a sophomore that I think really showed the difference in personalities between the two of us. It was a Saturday night, and I was in my apartment, and Jordan knocks on the door and says, "Hey, you want to go to a Colts game tomorrow?" And I said, "I think it's like 9 o'clock at night," and Indy was, 3 hours away?
3.5, yeah.
3.5 hours away. I'm like, "I don't think I want to go. That's far away." And Jordan just kept saying, "Oh, come on, it'll be fun." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm too tired to drive." And Jordan said, "Well, let me drive your car." Now, if you know me, I never let anybody drive my car. And I decided that Jordan was being so persistent, the only way to get him off my back was to do this. And we didn't even have tickets to the game, if I remember correctly. You said, "Oh, we'll buy tickets from some scalper on the way in." I was like, "Oh, this is not how I work. I plan way in advance." So we got in my car, and you drove, and I think I slept in the back seat.
You did, which I can't even imagine how you managed curling up in the back seat.
I slept almost the whole way there. We got to your house, I think, at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And you have a bunch of siblings. And apparently they were all told to go sleep in the basement. Is that right?
That sounds like something my parents would say, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we commandeered their room. And the next morning I woke up and there were all these little eyes looking at me. So we got up, and I'm not sure if I remember exactly what happened from there. Jordan, you want to take the story over?
Yeah, so my memory is poor, but I remember going to the stadium at the time. That was the RCA Dome, the people in Indianapolis.
Right, the old stadium.
That's right. So, like in high school growing up, well, you have to know, first of all, I was homeschooled, so I had no friends or social skills or sports teams. And so like growing up, instead of like following high school or college ball, all I had was this professional team. So I had grown up buying tickets from scalpers, and the Colts were just horrendous almost my entire childhood. Mm-hmm. So you could buy super cheap tickets that were like behind a pole or obstructed view kind of things, and just scoot over, and you wouldn't have any problems. But it was a fun experience for the very terrible team that I loved. And so we would have like had breakfast and driven downtown from where I lived and parked and walked into the stadium. And this was your first game, wasn't it?
It was right. I had never been to an NFL game before.
That's right. There's a little bit of a history with the team we were playing. We were playing the Baltimore Ravens, of course.
See, I don't remember that at all.
Baltimore hates Indianapolis because the Colts used to
that's right.
In Baltimore, and they stole away in the middle of the night. So there is a very large and passionate rivalry between the two teams. So I just remember kind of like showing you, what it was like to go to this game. We traded some cash for cheap tickets, and it was a good time.
I remember we were way up in the middle of nowhere, but we could see the game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I just wanted to show you a little taste of how I grew up, and that you went with me was, I do recall it being a tough sell, but somehow.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing was, when it was all said and done, I had a great time. And I was thankful to you for having convinced me to go. I don't even remember the outcome of the game. Do you remember what happened?
Oh, the Colts are terrible. They lost, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry to bring that up. But it does kind of show the difference in personalities. I think, always been much more of a planner. I do think I take risks, but I think it through very carefully. I plan way in ahead. I took a trip to Europe for 30 days and planned out almost every second and third hour that I was there months in advance.
Right.
And here you were convincing me to, at the spur of the moment, drive 3.5 hours away to go to a game we didn't even have tickets to. I didn't even know we could buy tickets like that.
Oh, you know what? So I just looked up the game.
Okay.
And it was actually a last-second win.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
How do you even remember what date it was that we went?
Well, I just put in the year and the game.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Some of the games. So yeah, the Colts pulled out a last minute win. Okay, so that was a good time.
This is going to be terrible, but the thing I remember most about the game was that after it was over, we were walking out the stadium. Of course, we were so high up. Remember, there was this older gentleman who was quite drunk in front of us who fell down the stairs. Do you remember that?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I was like, he is going to go over the edge of the balcony, but he didn't. But that's the part of the game that I remember. So, well, that's cool. Well, interestingly enough, here's another fun part to the story. I have never been to an NFL game since. And about 4 years ago, we had an exchange student who really wanted to go to a Colts game. And so I bought tickets, the cheapest ones I could get. And of course, they were up in the nosebleeds. And as per usual, I am there very early so we can find our seats and get everything sorted out before the game's started. The game is like 3 or 4 minutes away from starting, and I'm looking down the stairs, and who starts walking up the stairs but Jordan Updike? And I was like, this is crazy that I've been to 2 NFL games, and you were at both of them. And I think you sat, like 2 rows behind us? It was absolutely hilarious that happened.
My aunt had bought some tickets for my birthday, and I took my father-in-law with me. I'm guessing, I think it was like a Groupon or something she must have gotten.
Right, that's how I got mine.
Right, exactly. So that even though there's 70,000 people there, the odds that we were close together make a little more sense.
Yeah. But I just thought it was funny. I've been to 2 NFL games in my life. They've both been Colts games, and you've been at both of them. Now, of course, it was 2 different stadiums.
Yeah.
And we were in the new one for the second one, but that was kind of fun.
Where was the exchange student from that year?
Germany.
Germany, right. There's not a lot of American football over in Germany.
Yeah, there wasn't. But, he played football here for the high school team here and ended up becoming all-state kicker, which is just crazy. I think all that soccer practice helped out, which is, I think, one of the reasons he was pretty excited about seeing football games is because he'd been playing it for the first time in his life.
What's the life lesson you draw from this?
I was just about to ask you the same thing. What are you learning from this?
Well, I mean, there might be something to be said for the biblical analogy of pestering the judge
until you get what you want. Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. From your perspective, is that being persistent in requesting can usually pay out. And I think it certainly did in your case. For me, as I look back on that, I think that with my personality type that I need to take risks more and I need to do unplanned things. And I certainly have learned to do that as I've gotten older and have had a son and had to realize you just can't plan life all the way out because things just don't always work that way. And frankly, you'll have a lot of fun if you do spur of the moment kinds of things.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with that. I think it's actually good to have balanced perspectives, right? When 2 people have different approaches to life, there's a lot of power in considering both the planning and the spur of the moment fun adventure sort, right? So on parallel, we're talking about one story where we did something adventurous that we had a great example, but your planning and the structural discipline things that you had implemented in your life, I still use today.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I taught you how to do some budgeting and things.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So like most things in life, there's no one black and white answer, and going too far one way or the other it can be dangerous in and of itself, or at least unhelpful.
Right.
Live life in one particular way. But yeah, maybe the lesson is if you have a friend who says, man, let's do this, let's go have a good time, odds are you might enjoy that adventure, even if it makes you a little uncomfortable at first.
Right. Well, and the power of people who are different working together can really create a very positive outcome for both sides. That's actually a great little commercial for an episode that's going to be coming up where I talk about my son and I going to a Coldplay concert and how each of our strengths led to a really cool experience. But I won't give that away now. You'll have to listen for a future episode on that one.
Awesome.
Well, Jordan, it's been really good to reminisce with you here for a little bit. And thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah. What Colts game are we going to this fall?
Well, you pick a date and tell me, and I'll pay for the tickets.
There you go. Sounds good, brother.
All right. Take care. Thanks for the call.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Lessons from Life. We hope that you have learned a lesson today that will help you to be more fulfilled in life's journey. If you were inspired by today's episode, please subscribe and review. You can find Lessons from Life at lessonsfromlifeforyou.com. That is with the number 4 and the letter U. You can also find links to all of our social media on our website. We would love to hear the valuable lessons that you have learned from your life experiences.